four-time NFL MVP and somebody who, not just myself, but we've all had so much respect for competing against him. And he happened to, be at a point in time in his career where he was, free to, have some real dialogue about what his future may look like. And we happen to be one of those teams that he reached out to.
So this is the story that will not go away. And thankfully, Adam Schefter is with us live from the owners' meetings in Palm Beach. Shefty, I've been around long enough to know that when this conversation continues, as long as this one is continuing, it bears watching closely. Give me a sense of what you're hearing.
Well, the Pittsburgh Steelers continue to wait for an answer from Aaron Rodgers. And the fact of the matter is, Greeny, like you said 9 days ago, he met with them for about 6 hours. And since then, there has not been a lot of dialogue about getting a deal done. So what is the delay? What is the holdup? As Brian Windhorst would say, something's going on there in Aaron Rodgers' mind that would make you wonder why he hasn't gotten a deal done with the Steelers when clearly they're waiting to sign him and the needle has not moved at all. So clearly Aaron Rodgers, in the eyes of some people, because we don't know exactly what he's thinking, has to have some level of interest in playing for the Minnesota Vikings, a team that's ready to win now, a team that plays indoors, a team that has great wide receivers, in a city in which that would represent the same path that a former Packers great all-time quarterback followed. Green Bay to New York to Minnesota. It would be the same thing here for Aaron Rodgers. The problem is the Vikings are not ready to commit right now to Aaron Rodgers. At least that's what they've said. They want to turn over their job to J.J. McCarthy. That is the plan. But lurking in the background is the idea that, well, what if J.J. McCarthy doesn't look physically ready in the spring in OTAs? What if he is not playing as well as we'd like? At that point, would Aaron Rodgers be around? And again, the longer this goes on, the more you wonder, what is he waiting for? If you want to be in Pittsburgh, you go sign with the Steelers. That hasn't changed. But that hasn't happened. And the Steelers are just waiting and wondering what the hang-up is. And there are no obvious solutions. And so we're left to deduce he looks like a guy who wants to play when he's out at UCLA throwing the football to DK Metcalf. But there's been no commitment to Pittsburgh, perhaps because of the idea that Minnesota's in the background lurking.
So look, I don't know everything, but I know this. Aaron Rodgers is going to play this coming season, all right? So where he's going to play is the only question. Booger McFarland, let me ask you this.
Yes.
If you and I should be together at the moment that Adam Schefter breaks into all programming and breaks the internet by reporting the Minnesota Vikings are signing Aaron Rodgers, what will be the first words you say to me?
Well, Pittsburgh is up, you know what creek.
Okay, that's true.
Well, those would be the first words, Greeny. It almost seems like we've been looking at this from the wrong angle. We keep focusing on the Aaron Rodgers of it all and the Pittsburgh Steelers of it all. Let's focus on the Minnesota Vikings.
Yes.
What are the Minnesota Vikings? What do they know about J.J. McCarthy that we don't? And what are they telling Aaron Rodgers to make him wait? Because that, to me, that's the only reason he's waiting. If he wants to play, as you say, Pittsburgh is there. But why is Minnesota so hesitant on J.J. McCarthy, health withstanding? Again, we're saying that the meniscus is healed. If they know that, what are they waiting on to go ahead and say, you know what, this is his team? Because they're going to be growing pains. He's essentially a rookie. They know they're going to be growing pains. So if that's what they're concerned about, they're going to have those whenever he steps on the field.
They've already said that, though. They've already said it's J.J.'s team. This is Aaron being Aaron. This is Aaron saying, hey, you know what, Pittsburgh, I know I've got you sitting over here. Wait, you know what, as a matter of fact, I'm going to go throw with DK. I'm going to go throw with him out here at UCLA. I'm going to get everybody up in a tizzy, but I'm still going to put my stiff arm out to you, and I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to wait and make sure Kevin and Kwesi Adolfo Menza, the GM up there at Minnesota, are damn sure that JJ's healthy and that he's progressing the way they want him to before I go ahead and commit to you. I don't think this has to do anything. I don't think this has anything to do with Minnesota waffling on JJ McCarthy.
You don't think Minnesota's closed the door? If Minnesota
look, you saw what Kwesi said. Yeah, you can never close the door because there could always be some kind of setback with JJ.
Understood.
But if you say this, he has a string of bad OTAs to where maybe he doesn't look quite as sharp as you hope he would. And next thing you know, you're signing Aaron Rodgers and bringing him in there. You might as well just go ahead and trade J.J. McCarthy then. Because you've already just ruined it right there.
Is that necessarily true?
Yeah, I believe it is.
2 years, a lot of quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers himself sat more than 2 years.
Yeah, and Patrick Mahomes played in his second year.
Yes, I get it. But I guess what I'm saying is I keep hearing people say signing Rodgers would mean giving up on McCarthy, and I'm not sure that's
okay,
true.
I don't know, like, in the literal sense of them saying they're giving up on him and, like, they will never turn back to him. I don't know if that's the case, but I'm telling you what it would do to the young man, what it would do to J.J. McCarthy if you're saying, hey, look, if I have a couple bad practices before I've even played a game, you go ahead and sign this guy. Yeah, I think that could have some kind of damage that maybe you can't really foresee on him.
Greeny, if they were to sign Aaron Rodgers, and this is why they've punted on it so far, it would bring a whole other set of logistical issues. And Lou's right. We don't know what would happen with J.J. McCarthy. We don't know exactly how signing Aaron Rodgers would sit with him, but my initial guess would be that would not be what he prefers. And the organization has been looking for somebody to challenge him, but not necessarily threaten him. And signing Aaron Rodgers absolutely would threaten his job, which would lead to questions, not about J.J. McCarthy's, well, it would lead to questions about his future because we don't know, to what Lewis is saying, what he would do. It's possible that he could ask to be traded if they sign Aaron Rodgers. And I can tell you this, there would be other quarterback-needy teams that would be waiting to reach out to the Vikings the moment they sign Aaron Rodgers. What can we give you for J.J. McCarthy? And that's what happens here if that organization goes in that direction. And they know that. And that's why they've been very careful to treat this subject very delicately. Right. But they also haven't dismissed it yet. And Aaron Rodgers hasn't done anything yet. So it just kind of sits out there. No matter how many times we said the Vikings, we've caught in with breaking news, Vikings are moving. No. Nothing's changed here. As we said all along, the Vikings have been monitoring Aaron Rodgers. They're aware of his situation. Aaron Rodgers is aware of the Vikings situation. And the Pittsburgh Steelers are also waiting. But the fact of the matter is, it's not like they have a game this or next week. The draft is later this month. They had the 21st overall selection. It's not like they're going to be able to pick a quarterback in the first round, despite Lewis's love for Tyler Shuck, that's going to come in and save the Steelers' season this upcoming year. So the Pittsburgh Steelers really don't have another quarterback alternative to turn to right now. Said they could just basically say, well, we're not going to wait around for Aaron Rodgers. They're kind of stuck.
That was my point. Right That's now. What I wanted to get. I have 1 minute left here. That was what I wanted to get to. In a world in which Rodgers winds up on Minnesota, as unlikely as it sounds from this conversation, what the actual heck are the Steelers?
A big move has just shaken up the NFL market. The Minnesota Vikings are setting their sights on Derek Harmon, one of the most promising defensive players for the 2025 draft. In this video, I'll tell you all about what this pick represents and how it could impact the future of the Vikings, who are looking to strengthen their defensive line. Keep watching, because the Vikings' decision could completely change the dynamic of that position on the team. Before diving into the details about the Vikings and Harmon, it's important to highlight that, despite adding Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave to strengthen their defensive line, the team still feels the need for more depth in that area. While both players bring significant power, depth remains a priority for the coaching staff, which is looking for a versatile player who can perform in different roles. And that's where Derek Harmon comes in as a highly attractive option to fill that gap. Minnesota has made strategic decisions during this offseason to improve their defensive line, but there is still a gap to fill. The addition of Allen and Hargrave strengthens the unit, but what's truly needed is more player rotation. Harmon, with his impressive physique and pass rush skills, could not only be a solid backup but also an immediate starter, providing flexibility and offering the Vikings another option in their rotation. His ability to play multiple defensive positions makes him a key piece that the Vikings can't afford to pass up. Now, do you think Derek Harmon would be the perfect addition for the Vikings, or do you think the team should look for another alternative in the draft? Leave us your opinion in the comments. We want to know what you think about the future of Minnesota's defensive line and if you believe Harmon fits into that scheme. Let's get to the main topic of this news: the strong possibility that Derek Harmon could be the Vikings' choice in the 2025 draft. Stay with us to understand everything behind this strategic decision that could define the franchise's defensive direction. Derek Harmon is shaping up to be one of the standout defenders in the 2025 class, and Minnesota has him in their sights as a key piece to strengthen their defensive line. With attributes like size, strength, and a great pass rush ability, Harmon seems to have all the qualities the Vikings need. In a defensive unit that still requires more depth and versatility, Harmon emerges as an immediate solution, allowing the team to add more power and dynamism to their roster. If the Vikings manage to land Harmon, it could significantly change the way they present themselves defensively. Not only would it improve the pass rush, but his versatility would allow him to play multiple roles, providing very valuable flexibility to the team's scheme. Additionally, this would force opponents to rethink their strategies against a Minnesota defense that is much more dangerous and harder to read. Do you think Derek Harmon will be a good pick for the Vikings, or should the team prioritize another need on the roster? Leave us your comments. We'd love to know what you think about this potential move and if you believe Harmon fits into the team's plans. Stay tuned for the latest news on the Minnesota Vikings and the 2025 draft as moves continue, and you won't want to miss any details. See you in the next video.